Hi everybody, we're going to introduce two new overcoats this season. So first we have this is the Coherence Charles coat. This is an exclusive design that Coherence has been making for us for a few years. Typically we do this in heavyweight cottons, but this year we've done it in this lovely medium weight nail head wool. And now we also want to have a look at the Tokyo coat. This is a new design in our range. Tokyo coat is our new in-house coat. It's a little bit more on the dressy side compared to this. Simpler construction, but a little bit more elegant. And we'll go through some of the details of that in a second. Let's start with this though. Starting with the Coherence Charles coat. The Charles coat is meant to be a little bit more of a refined version of a country coat. You know, something like a barber, for instance. It's called the Charles coat because we named it after Charlie Mingus. Charlie Mingus famously shot his shotgun inside his house as part of this publicity stunt. And, you know, country, shotguns, Charles, there you go. So what are some of the features design-wise of this coat? Let me show you. Given it's a sporty coat, we have a zipper closure and also a button closure to really kind of keep the wind out. You can't quite see it, but it actually has a raglan shoulder rather than a set-in shoulder. Hand warmer pockets in the waist, and then gusseted pockets at the hips. There's also buttoning on the waist so that you can cinch it in a little bit if necessary, and nice little action pleat on the back. Let me show you what this looks like on the body. The original Charles coat actually had a hood as well, but for the wool one we decided to forego the hood. And there you go, Coherence Charles coat. Oh, in fact, I'll show you one of my favorite details actually. I love this little strap that you have on the cuff. The idea is that you use it to just tighten the cuff up, you know, if you're gonna have a cold day. But just like the shape that it makes and being able to taper down the sleeve like that, I think is such a nice detail. And if you're gonna be out, you know, in the cold all day, like every little bit counts, right? Also, on the inside, there are extra buttons. This is for buttoning in a liner. So we actually make a synthetic fur liner that allows this coat to do double duty even in like very cold temperatures. Alrighty, let's have a look at Charles coat. Sorry, not Charles coat, Tokyo coat. So Tokyo coat, rather than a raglan sleeve, did a normal set-in sleeve like that. And turn back cuff, patch and flat pockets with a slight slant to it. You know, the idea of the Tokyo coat, and the reason why we named it the Tokyo coat, is because there's a very nice gentleman named Kinji Teramoto-san who runs a firm called 35 Summers, and they're in charge of Rocky Mountain Featherbed. They're in charge of Anatomica Japan. Kinji-san put out this really great book that was like that was showing off his archive of Navy vintage military garments from the US. Well, not just military, actually, just vintage US garments, but all in Navy. Okay, and in there was this beautiful US Navy pea coat that really just like captured my imagination, Jan's imagination, Jim's imagination, Alan's imagination, basically all our buying and design team. And we're like, you know, we should do some sort of riff on this, right? So the Tokyo coat actually is kind of a riff of that old American Navy pea coat, but with some of our changes added to it as well. It's a little bit shorter, but it still retains a little bit of that collar's characteristics. And we did it not in those really, really heavy meltons that you might use for a pea coat, but something a little bit more refined, a little bit lighter. But the color is super nice too. So the color is this beautiful brown melange with black, and the mix is wool, alpaca, and mohair. So it's a really unusual cloth made for us actually by Vitaly Barber's Canonico. Let me slip it on so you get an idea of it. You know, this is a good coat. I mean, I know sometimes people watch this and they're like, do you really need a coat in Hong Kong? The answer is yes, surprisingly. Like, surprisingly, Hong Kong does actually get cold enough to wear a coat. And this is one of the lighter coats we've ever done. So, you know, you can obviously layer it for somewhere, you know, like Japan or the US where it's colder. But in Hong Kong, you could very easily just wear this over a suit or on its own and it would be very comfortable. There you go. As you can see, we are quite into our shorter coats this season. The reason is because obviously as people have started to move away from wearing suits quite as much and wearing more casual things, the Tokyo coat pairs well with stuff like chinos like that, blue jeans. The fabric helps a lot, like having that really kind of chunky, herringbone in the fabric just makes it feel a lot more sporty. But when you dress it up, a pair of gray flannels like that, it's also super interesting. Like a little unexpected, but in a good way. Alrighty, so there you go. The Armory's Tokyo coat and the Coherence Charles coat in a blue nailhead. These are available in store now and also online, so come by and check it out. Thanks for watching.